The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Persons under 18 will not be admitted.
What the fuck are we gonna do now? Get high? Woo! Oh
me.
yeah, it is you. I just wanted to mess with you. I really just wanted to mess with you tonight.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You know what time it is. So if you're here, you know why you're here. If you're not here, then you should be here. Because we're here.
Yeah.
And it's Wednesday. So I'm going to go back to this guy.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. It's me, Jar Jar Jeremy. I'm back again.
And?
Oh, do you want me to introduce the guest or am I
No, that's Jeff's
What?
show. That's
Okay.
Jeff's show. Yeah, this guy, Jeff.
I'll introduce Jeff.
And here's Jeff.
Happy Wednesday! I'm
Woo.
looking forward to this show. I don't know shit about a lot of this, but I was doing some research and I'm impressed, man.
Right?
You know, I'm impressed. You know, I mean, you know, some of the girly stuff I just never get into. I'm hoping that she understands that. You know,
Yeah.
But we're gonna find out. I might get bitch slapped. You know, but that's okay. So, you know, I'm looking forward to talking with her. Samantha Newark, welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. Happy Wednesday.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We like to do
And
things on
I
hump day.
won't bitch slap you, I promise.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because I understand. Although the brand is like 50% boys, 50% girls, because the Hasbro didn't want to lose the boys at the time. But yeah, it is very girly. Yeah, Jem.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
pretty.
Well, it was.
I watched a little bit of it when I was a kid.
I was gonna
And
say, I
it's
did
more
too,
my
yeah.
generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't
Yeah.
my generation. You know.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're
You're
probably
aging.
similar age, so we were out like clubbing and doing other things, not watching cartoons.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. No.
Yeah.
I was watching horror movies, which we'll bring up a little bit later.
Right. You're forgiven.
Well, thank you. Thank you. But I mean, you've had quite a variety of things happening in your life.
Right.
But I do want to ask you
Right.
now. You were
It
born
started
you were
young.
born in England, then moved to Africa, then to the U.S. Now, was that because your parents wanted to move, or they were moving to try and help you in your career?
So the first move to Africa was something that they just wanted to do. They actually, a lot of English people were moving to Southern Rhodesia at the time. I'm dating myself, but my mom took a trip there with my dad, and she got off the plane and she had like an instant connection to it. She absolutely loved it. And also, England was a bit depressing and rainy, and there's the weather's very similar to California, to LA and Rhodesia. So there was just so many things to love about it. And so we moved there. And then I started singing professionally when I was 7. I cut a record when I was 8.
Mhm.
I was
then,
gonna bring that up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Little
At 7, I'm
country-
watching
country
Jem,
record.
and that's you're
Yeah.
like cutting records.
Yeah, so crazy. I saw this little child performer. Her name was Lena Zavaroni. She was a big star from Scotland, and they had like a television program in the late 70s, kind of like American Idol, but like way smaller scale, just a televised talent show. And this little kid, I think she was 10 at the time, just won every week. Every week. She's phenomenal. And so when we went to Africa, she actually was touring in Rhodesia. My parents took me to see her at the Seven Arts Theater. And I got to go backstage, and I still have the vinyl record she autographed for me. And I just had like an absolute epiphany when I saw her perform. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to do what she's doing. The backup dancers, the music, the whole, I want that. And I was off and running, and started singing.
Paul?
Yeah. Say again?
Sorry,
Saying hi to Paul.
So I don't know if you're on your phone or if you're on your computer, but on the computer you can see I can bring up.
I'm on my.
Oh, okay. So you might be able to see it. I bring up the questions and comments up right up onto the screen. So Paul said hi to everybody.
I
so
can't see it. Oh yeah, I kind of do. Hey guys, hi Paul. Now I see it. Awesome.
Yeah.
So clever.
Right. Well, it's
Talking with Dead Rock.
It's kind of why we've been so successful over the years, is because we allow the fans to interact with the show. And not a lot of shows do that, so
spontaneous kind of questions, and that's awesome.
Right. So
yeah, some people have to get deleted and blocked.
Yeah, and muted.
It happens.
Some people just need to exit stage left, just
right.
Right.
No.
So and then from Africa you came to the US. How old were you when you came to the US?
So it was getting a little scary. I was 10. In fact, we landed in Washington, D.C. the day that Jimmy Carter was getting inaugurated, and in a snowstorm. There were no hotels, and my poor parents, I mean, like, what a day to get here. They had to kind of go out in the snow and figure out where to put us for the night. And I mean, crazy, but I loved how adventurous, it was hard to leave my friends and keep changing schools and literally moving continents. But hindsight, what a cool experience. I will never forget it.
Right.
And it gave me kind of a skill set that I've used over the years. Like, oh, I'm the new girl. I can walk into any situation. I can walk onto a set. I can not know anybody, and I will just have to figure it out and, learn to fit in and all of that stuff. So it served me. was tricky, but it served me over the years, so I can be grateful for it now.
Now, how many different places in the U.S. have you lived?
So we arrived in Washington, D.C. So we lived in Northern Virginia. We were in Reston first. And then we left there. My sister and I had a really hard time. We had British accents when we got here because I was 10. And
Well, that's tough
that
in Virginia.
Yeah, it didn't go so well. we were like, they threw rocks through our windows and harassed my sister and I this after school. So my parents had to take us out of our first school because it was really bad.
Oh, no kidding.
We were getting bullied terribly. And then we changed. We moved to Fairfax, which was better, a lot better. Yeah, I don't remember any shenanigans in Fairfax. It was actually nice there. So, and I had a great music teacher who was very encouraging, and yeah, so it was good. And then we moved to, so I got signed to ICM when I was 10, which it's like William Morris ICM. It's pretty, CAA, a huge artist agency.
Right.
And they didn't quite know what to do with me, but they kind of threw me in the film department and put me on the state fair circuit. So that's kind of how I opened for Pat and Debbie Boone and Eddie Rabbit and the Silvers and all of these people, and did.
No, that definitely ages you.
Yeah, totally. I know.
Pat Boone.
Mac Davis. I know. Yeah.
But it actually opened a lot of doors for you.
Yeah, of course it did.
Yeah, it did. And, eventually I was such a small fish in like a huge agency. It just didn't make sense anymore. And they didn't really know what to do with me. So I left and I went to a smaller agency, and they kind of threw me out on the audition circuit for like, God, I screen tested for Days of Our Lives when I was like 13.
Oh, sweet.
and Little House on the Prairie, which I have this affinity for Little House. I mean, I felt like that show helped raise me. And I was so heartbroken when I didn't get the role that I was up for, because I got a D in math and they wouldn't clear my work permit. And I had screen tested with Michael and all of this. And yeah, I couldn't get cleared. So, but you learn to live with stuff like that. But yeah. And so my agent said, if you're going to live anywhere, you either have to move to New York or Los Angeles. And we packed up the station wagon with the dog and a little trailer with all our little things, and California in the 80s when it was great there. It was
off like the Clampets.
What? Like what?
Like the Clampets.
Like the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We did the track.
Did you ever try to get into any like garage bands in your youth?
No, I was never in a band when I was, I sang with like big orchestras.
Yeah.
I had some sort of prominence with a big agency, and I'd done these big shows at the state fairs and stuff. I did sing with my high school band. I was in junior high. I think I was like in 7th grade, and I was singing with the high school band at their shows and things. So I did that. And I used to do these big benefits at the Shrine Auditorium, where they have I guess they have the Grammys there now. I can't remember, but they used to have these big police benefits with the Ray Anthony Orchestra. And they'd have like John Ritter would MC, and oh my gosh, all of these people. I can't think of the Star Trek guy, William Shatner, has like introduced me.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Dork out.
London, England.
Yeah, right.
Little red dress coming to perform for you. And yeah, so and Jay Leno, before everybody was like iconic and huge. I mean, they were iconic. They were famous, but not like they are now. It's kind of in a whole other realm now.
So basically, you jumped right over the rungs of the garage band on the rise up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't come until my early 20s when I started writing my own music, and then I was in and out of like every music environment that I could get my hands on, and just working with as many musicians as I could. And I was in just all these different incarnations of different projects, and just got to play with some super talented. I'm so spoiled now. Like I tried to teach myself guitar, and I literally have played with such phenomenal guitarists that I'm just like, I can't do what you do.
Not worthy.
Like I give up.
Worthy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like percussive, like incredibly percussive, beautiful guitar players that don't even need you, just guitar and vocals, and you're good. And I couldn't make that happen for myself. So yeah.
But you brought up, releasing your albums and things like that. A lot of your songs have been featured in television series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have
TV shows I watch, like
cool.
Smallville.
And
yeah.
So I wrote a bunch of songs for the Warner Telepictures Film and TV Library, and they were just flown into all of these different shows, which was really fun. And then also I was a session singer in LA, so I used to work a lot with producer Michelle Weiss-Maslin, songwriter producer. She's won Emmys for a bunch of stuff, and she wrote that song it was like a group, and they had a television show, which kind of kickstarted her career. Get over yourself, bye bye. Can't remember something like that, but she's done a lot of stuff, and she used to hire me all the time to, like, Sam, can you sound like a 15-year-old Avril Lavigne? I was like, yeah, yeah, I can do that. I'll pull that one out of the bag. And I used to do a lot of session stuff for her, and then she would place a million different things and so many projects. She's really prolific, and so yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, you mentioned Smallville. I was gonna go with Reba because
Reba was a cool show.
Yeah. That was one of my shows right there.
Right.
Am I
and
dating
America's
myself?
Next Top Model.
Right. I mean,
and,
stuff on
my albums have been placed
Punked.
too, Punked. And my
we could go on.
16,
We could go on
Bad
forever. But real quick, I do want to say to all our East Coast watchers, Samantha will be making an appearance in New Jersey, I believe, this upcoming Sunday, correct?
Sunday, yeah. Mm-hmm.
At the New Jersey
Sunday. Fun time for a show. Yeah, it's Collector Con. I believe it's New Jersey Collector Fest. And they're lovely people, and I can't wait to be there. It's a one-day show, which is nice. I enjoy that, just kind of, go there and have a blast. And then
now I know New Jersey only has one exit, but do you know where it is?
I don't. I'm hoping somebody will get me there. I'm just going to fly in, and
it has more than one exit.
That's the joke.
Oh, I know that.
I heard that joke.
It's only one exit when we drive through it because we don't go the other way. We have to go straight through. And we're going 80 to 90 miles an hour because we're trying to head to Maryland or Virginia or someplace.
Right.
It's a Collector Fest, you said?
Yes.
Yeah. New Jersey.
In New Jersey.
There you go, Jeff. Look it up.
Yeah, and those shows are really fun because they're all I didn't realize before I started doing Comic Cons that there's this collector's culture. I mean, the culture of collecting vintage toys is massive, and I didn't relate to collecting anything because I was, the girl that was like, hey, kids, we're moving to Africa, here, take your 2 toys and we're leaving the rest. Like, I didn't get attached to anything. I have a few things that I kept from my childhood, but so being exposed to this collector's world, oh my God, and the money, the hotel things that go on like after a show, sometimes at these bigger shows where the dealer floor closes and then there are there's wheeling and dealing going on in the hotel rooms like till 3 a.m. and people making like huge sales, and it's exciting. It's really fun. I had no idea.
Actually,
so it's in Wayne, New Jersey for everybody.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah,
Wayne Pal, 1 Pal Drive.
Now, see, Leo would have had that done like 5 minutes ago, dude.
It'd be up on the screen too,
right?
So, yeah, I believe you're also
it's on the screen. Right
I also believe
there it is.
doing.
It's on the screen.
I believe you're doing one in Georgia this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I am. That's
the Georgia Poppin' HorrorCon.
Yes.
Billy Middlestat.
You going there? Billy Middlestat's what you going?
Billy Middlestat. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you know him. That's cool. I this will be my first time meeting him in person, but we've chatted on the phone, and he seems super nice. And I love that he's having the pop culture element as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I did a really bad.
Billy and Brian are 2 of the most amazing gentlemen you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
That's so lovely. I've heard that. So, and
yes,
that's confirmation for me as well.
Do they have you performing at the show?
No, I haven't done that. I haven't done that in a minute. sometimes it's just a lot. It's exhausting.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm not 21 anymore. It's like going and
Right.
It's a lot.
Plus,
But
it's
I'll
not
probably
like you can have your actual band with you too.
right. I'd have to play the tracks, and that's I mean, I've done that a million times, but it's not like having a band and a whole thing.
Right.
But I will be doing more of that for sure.
Now we were there last year down in
Georgia,
and I'll tell you, you are gonna love that venue.
I can't wait. And I get to drive too, which I love, which is great. If I don't have to fly somewhere and I can actually drive, then I just bring everything, which is I kind of bring this insane amount of stuff. Like I want to give the fans like an experience. Some people just bring 8x10s, but I'm like, oh no, I've got like acrylic figures and I've got vinyl and I've got like everything, just to make it like a Jem and Transformers pop-up shop.
But do you have a bobblehead?
I did have a bobblehead. She's vaulted now because she's sold out. There's a Jem bobblehead. I usually have her like right here. She's not in arm's length, but yeah, she's really cute. They did Jem and Pizzazz. Okay, and cool. Then they were going to do all of them, and then 2020 happened, and then nothing happened. Yeah, Funko.
See, everybody says that. Everybody says 2020 happened and nothing happened. 2020 happened and we started filming.
Yeah, well, there you go. But they weren't making. Yeah, it was crazy time.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You'll definitely have a good time down in Georgia. Billy's a great guy, and so isn't Brian.
Good. Yeah.
On occasion.
I didn't get to chat with Brian. Well, no, I did chat with Brian. What am I saying? But they're both, that's cool. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm good. It's such a treat for me. It's kind of like, after all of these years, I didn't get to meet the Jem fans when the show was on, and to just have the opportunity to meet the adults that are bringing their children, and they kind of just melt into their 8-year-old selves. They just get all, it's so sweet. It's like such a sweet brand. It's such a sweet show. The fans, like I said, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish.
They just kind of, you meet their inner child. You really do. They're just like, oh my God, I don't know why I'm crying. And it's like, because it's your childhood. It's such I feel like I'm kind of custodian of something very sweet and precious. It's like people are kind of catapulted back into them. I'm sure Allison relates to that from Little House. It's something you grow up with it, and these are important people. They're important elements of a special time. Even if your childhood wasn't that great, it's something that you looked forward to, something that was meaningful. So we have a lot of people that just burst into tears, and it's so sweet. And
what years did Jem actually run?
85,
we started in 85, and then we did 65 episodes, so 3 seasons.
Yep.
It's crazy how many episodes were out back in the day for a TV show like that.
Okay.
Insane amount.
We would have done more, except Barbie had to come in and like do her own haul.
Oh man, there's that Barbie again,
right?
God damn Barbie.
Right?
Threatened.
She couldn't stay home with Ken.
Yeah.
Nope, she had to come out.
No.
Speaking of Barbie,
but being an astronaut and all of this is not enough for you. Like, you have to be a rock star too.
Have you ever had anybody bring you the original dolls in carded and stuff to sign and all that? That's got to be pretty cool.
It's amazing. Yeah, I sign a lot of vintage stuff, and then I'm just like, what? This is a Jem waterbed? Like, how did I not know about this?
Whoa!
So much merch. It's like, there's a Jem board game. Like, where was I? I should have been at Toys R Us, like buying all of this stuff, and just because I keep things now, and I was clueless. I got myself a doll when I was working on the show. My dad was like, you should probably go get yourself a Jem doll, and I was like, I probably should. Okay, I'm gonna go do that. And it was like the second season I finally got around to getting myself one. But yeah, there's so much incredible merch. One time a fan brought me a Rockin' Roadster, which is the Jem car, and it's huge. It's like a couple of this big car. And I thought that they were just bringing it to me to sign. And he was like, no, it's for you. Here, I'm giving it to you.
Wow.
Like, oh my
Sweet.
God. Hands,
how am I going to get this home?
I know. That's what I thought.
Good thing I drove.
Plane, I'll just wear like 5 sweaters and put it in my suitcase. Yeah, it was just so lovely. People make gifts and the cosplay is phenomenal.
Wow.
The cosplay, like especially the drag queens. Oh my God. Like they take it to the 100th power. It's like hair.
Hell yeah.
The biggest pink hair I've ever seen in my life. And you just see it coming from like far away and you're like, I think that's for me.
Yeah.
I think they're coming to see me.
Yeah, that's one of my
God,
fans.
it's so fun.
That's
What was that?
Yeah, that's one of my
it
fans.
is.
Spot him a while away.
right.
Yep, I do. Yeah.
No, I was just
That's
looking up
awesome.
the value of what the dolls are, and a complete set sold for close to $5,000.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty insane.
It's pretty cool. And then some of the new Integrity dolls, they did a lot of dolls, like a whole gem line in, I think it was 2012. And it's Integrity. They're collector dolls, so they're different than the originals. Obviously, they're super expensive, and oh my gosh, those dolls go for insane prices. I mean, they're like some of them are $1,500 just for one doll.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh, I want to
Good
be
Lord.
a doll.
I mean,
I know.
I want a doll made of me.
Right.
Right? I'd like to be a doll.
you are. We gotta pull you.
Oh,
We gotta
God.
pull your string every couple of minutes. Don't worry, it's all good.
Yeah, but you never know what's going to come out.
I'm an action figure. I'm a Funko Pop. It's hilarious.
See?
I'm like,
Right.
what is happening? Like, how did this happen? You know?
Oh, exactly.
This little
So
girl
that's
from
gonna.
England.
That was going to be my question. What actually got you into voice acting?
So this is so strange. Well, I mean, I guess it was a natural progression of events, but I mean, when you get an agent, you know, they're like, well, you have to be a triple threat. So I was in dance class and I was, you know, doing, going out for commercials and films. And so I had to act, sing, and dance. And I had no experience other than singing. So I was just really kind of thrown in the deep end. I was auditioning for pretty big things, you know, oh my God, remember After School Specials and Facts of Life and just all of it. That was that whole moment in time. And then one day my agent called and she said, Sam, I've got an audition for you. It's for an animated series. And I was like, wait, to be a cartoon? He's like, yeah, and they're rock stars and they're, you know, they're 2 rival rock bands. And I thought, oh my God, they must know that I sing. I was so excited because I thought that's why I got the audition. But then when I went there, I found out that all the music was like this whole big machine. I mean, a ton of money was put into the show. It was crazy, like real orchestra and like beautifully done. And that was all in New York and it was already cast. And then they were coming to California, to Burbank, California, to find their speaking voice for Jem and Jerrica and all the singing counterparts. They were matching us, but at the time we didn't know, you know, so I actually have my audition notes. I kept my audition sides, which usually you don't, you just leave them there. And I kept them and I was like, must talk to Arlene, who's my agent, about the singing voice, you know, because I didn't know that it was all a separate thing. But Britta Phillips is the singing voice of Jem. And every time I hear the theme song, I still get chills. I mean, it's just, she can belt that chest voice and it is gorgeous. And that's an amazing theme song still to this day. And,
see, I thought you were doing all the songs.
I know people think that because I sing and she also does voice acting. So, but yeah, that it was a seamless thing. Nobody knew until the internet, until people were like,
you would assume they would just use the same person for both voice.
You would think. I don't know why they did that like that. Yeah, it was all done.
Well, considering you were the winner of a vocal competition in LA at 17 years old,
I know.
Why wouldn't they use you?
That's what I thought at the time, but I couldn't be 2 places at once. My character could because I was a
but
But
Showtime synergy.
Exactly. Yeah, so all the little tricks that they used to do back then, and no one was the wiser. And then the internet comes along and people start, you know,
digging.
Googling they start digging.
Now back in the 85 era, did you guys all record together or was it already started? Oh, they did have you guys record together?
We recorded ensemble, which, oh my God. I mean, for a novice voice actor like me to come into a situation like that. I mean, there's a British expression that you landed with your bum and butter, and I did, because I landed like with Charlie Adler and Townsend Coleman and Sue Blue and Patricia Albrecht.
I'm not going to touch that.
Butter in the biscuits.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Leave it
So,
to the
yeah, I
Americans
gotta
to
say
make
that.
it
Right.
dirty.
I know. Yeah, but it was just incredible. Like I got to work like with these people, in a studio together and watch them and just learn from them, and it was just, what a gift, because most of the time you're really isolated when you're doing voiceovers. You're in a studio with headphones, and you're with copy, and and a lot of the voiceover stuff is not even glamorous either. It's like, it's ad agencies, and it's commercials and commercial spots and 30-second spots and things like that. And it's not animation, but this is like, it's like live. It was like radio theater, like radio
That's
theater.
so cool.
And, Patricia's standing next to me, and she's like, I'm going to come after you, Jem. And I'm like, she's waving her arms at me. And so you're really reacting. You're playing off of each other, which was so cool. So cool that we got to work like that.
That's awesome.
I'm
Wow. So
very
you've done
lucky.
all of these really, really cool things, and the glam and all this kind of stuff. How the fuck you end up in a horror movie?
I was waiting for this.
I asked myself that. Well, that's what you do when you're 18 and you're just being thrown out into the show business world, and you just go to all these auditions, and then Summer Camp Nightmare. It was originally called The Butterfly Revolution because it was based on Lord of the Flies. And I just auditioned for it, and I booked Debbie, the girl that didn't quite know who she was, and didn't know what side she wanted to be on. And so and we shot it up in Trancas Canyon, up the Santa Monica Mountains, kind of during the run of Jem. And it was like going to summer camp with a bunch of idiot teenagers and just being stupid and having crushes on each other, and spending the night up there and just being idiots. And it was fun. It was really fun.
Well, because that
It's not
was
a great
when I was it's a campy horror flick. I mean, back in the 80s. I mean, that's what they were. You know what I mean? And I saw when I was doing the research, I saw the title. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched pretty much every horror movie that's out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I had to look it up, and I watched the trailer. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this one now.
I'm surprised. I've really been shocked over the years. People have brought me posters. They've brought, because I'm on the cover of the DVD and the poster, like screaming, and people have brought me stuff to sign for. I'm like, wow, you saw that? And they're like, oh my God, it was on HBO all the time, and I watched it all the time as a kid. So I've embraced it.
I'll tell you, the horror fans in the horror world are
they're going to eat that up.
They are the most dedicated, absolutely.
Well,
and nicest people.
And some of the nicest you're ever going to meet.
Yep.
That's so fun. Yeah, it's
fun so that's why you fit perfectly at a pop and horror con, because you're in both worlds.
Absolutely.
I'm in both worlds. I am. Yeah, it'll be fun to have fans from other things that I've done. I did a project called Project Echo, which was an anime feature film, and I sang the theme song for it. And over the years, I've had quite a few people bring me their records, their vinyl records to sign, and they're like, that's my favorite anime movie. And it started my whole journey with anime. And so I kind of been lucky to be involved in some classic, things that are beloved to fans that, to me at the time, I didn't know. Yeah.
I mean, you've got the pop, you've got the horror, but you can also get into the gaming cons because you've had your voice in video games.
Yeah,
and like
actually,
some big games.
Yeah, I sung on God of War,
which is an amazing game.
Oh my gosh, the first time I saw what I was actually singing to picture, because I was in the studio and they showed me the video game, and I was like, because I came from, Miss Pac-Man. What are these kids watching these days? I was so blown away. Like, oh my God, whoa, and that was like 2004, I think. I mean, it's just gone. It's incredible.
It's insane.
Now. AI.
Yeah.
And it's insane.
Oh yeah, it is.
I mean,
well, now we're into VR and stuff and craziness.
Incredible. Yeah, I was actually, it's funny you say that. My friend has an 86-year-old mom, and she's not very mobile anymore. She's so frustrated. And I was like, oh my God, we should get you some virtual goggles. You could be like skiing in Switzerland. You could go back to Austria. You could like be, and her face lit up. She thought it was the funniest thing.
Ding, ding, ding. You
Yeah.
just gave me the best idea that I could ever possibly imagine.
I love it. Pray tell.
Well, my
You have
88-year-old
someone in your life
mother-in-law
that-
she's living with us now. She
See?
just moved
Oh my
in
God,
5
right?
months ago, and we're trying to come up with things that we can have her do. That's fantastic.
I love that. I love that. From God's ears to your, you know.
Make sure she's sitting down, Jeff.
The other day. Sure she's sitting down. And not
I've seen some accidents happen with the VR stuff. I myself was using it and accidentally punched. You go to like shoot at something and like you forget the ceiling's there and bam.
No, dude,
Wow.
she's 4'5". She's not even gonna fall far.
I was taller than that when I played Annie. 4'5".
So
oh my God.
there's the segue. So playing Annie, you actually played Annie with the United States Navy Band production.
I did. So at the time, I was like, the fans are so obsessed with Jem. They tell me like when they were kids, it was like, Jem's on TV. I was the same way with Annie. I was completely nuts for Annie. And of course I sang, so that was a no-brainer. And yeah, one time they had a big audition with the United States Navy Concert Orchestra to find Annie, and they were going to do abbreviated production in Washington, D.C. And I auditioned, you know, and I got Annie, which was amazing because it was all about Annie. And then Martin Charnin, the lyricist for Annie, used to go see a lot of productions and scope out new Annies. But you got to understand, like, Annie's shelf life is like 6 months because it's right in that sweet spot where you're a child and then suddenly you're in puberty and you know, it's just really quick. So like every year the Annies are getting younger and younger. Suddenly they're like 7 and 8. It's like, what's happening? Oh, because they need them. They need all the rehearsal time. They need them to be Annie a little longer than the normal age. But yeah, so he saw me and he flew me to New York, and I auditioned with a bunch of other orphans and the Daddy Warbucks, and I was just too damn tall. I was almost 5 foot at that point, and rehearsals weren't going to start until October. And this was for the Broadway London production, and I still had a British passport, and I wanted it so bad, like so bad. I'd never wanted anything so bad in my life, and I was 10, you know. And yeah, and he said, "I'm sorry, darling. We would love to have you, but you're gonna grow." And my mom's like, "No, she won't grow. She won't. Get a taller Daddy Warbucks."
Yeah.
That's what my mom said to him.
The proverbial squish the chick.
Yeah. Get a taller Daddy Warbucks. And yeah, so needless to say, the show went on without me, but that's when I ended up getting signed to ICM, and then I was put on the state fair circuit, and I was opening for 37,000 people at like 11 years old for
Right. Gotta be
Boone
amazing.
and Rabbit and
Right.
Mac Davis.
But
and,
Annie's not the only iconic character that you played. From what
Well,
I read,
Jem-
you also played Dorothy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did. I got to play Dorothy, and this is funny too. This is for anyone that grew up in LA. Like I'm technically an LA Valley girl from England, kind of all over the place, via Africa. What? But yeah, the mall that they shot, Fast Times at Ridgemont High in. So I did the grand opening of that mall when I was like 14, I think, and Zsa Zsa Gabor was there. The whole theme was Wizard of Oz, and Zsa Zsa Gabor was there, and Mervyn LeRoy, who directed the Wizard of Oz, was there, and all of these, you know, wonderful aged superstars. Elizabeth was there, and I was the Dorothy, and I sang Over the Rainbow, and then all the stores gifted me like something that had to do with the Wizard of Oz, and then I played Dorothy in a production in Glendale, just a small production, but I got to be Dorothy twice, which was, you know, which is what you do when you're 14 and you sing, you know, and you're in LA.
Right.
That's kind of what you do.
See, I didn't know you were going to go towards the Dorothy. See, I was going to bring up the whole fact that she was cast as the voice of Peter Pan's mother in Hook.
Yeah, well, that was
Dude.
next.
Right.
Yeah.
One of my
Yes.
favorite movies too, by the way.
Isn't
Robin
that lovely?
Williams,
Williams,
you got
yeah.
Dustin Hoffman, like
Julia
amazing
Roberts.
cast. Like
Yeah.
you.
I mean,
Yeah.
like seriously,
I'm not credited
folks.
for that, which is funny. My name's like nowhere on it, which I'm like, huh? How does that work? I still get residual checks.
Well, we just let
Always.
everybody know
sweet.
now.
Right?
Yeah, so I can prove it. They're like $1.99. I still get checks for it, but yeah, that was kind of funny.
That's
I'm like,
funny.
thank you, Hook. You remember me. I love
Right?
that. Yeah,
I mean,
but it's funny because it was on the heels of I think it was a Calvin Klein radio commercial years ago in the 90s, and they wanted a British young woman for the commercial. So I went to audition for it, and it was supposed to be a real British girl. And I went there, and the sides or the sign-in sheet wasn't where it was supposed to be. So the casting director had come out, and I said, "I'm sorry, where's your sign-in sheet?" And she's like, "Are you here for the English girl?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm." She's like, "Oh no, we need just English only. You're American." And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm British, And she's like, "But you have an American accent." I'm like, "No, but I can still use my British accent." It was awful. It was so humiliating. They sent me home, and they wouldn't let me audition. And
Wow.
my agent was so mad when I called her. I was crying. I was like, "They threw me out. They wouldn't let me audition. They said I wasn't English." I'm like, it was so dumb. But not long after that, I got an audition for Steven Spielberg and Hook, and where I got to pull my British accent out of the bag, and I booked it, and I was very satisfied. I was satisfied on so many levels.
Right. They
was
take that
great.
recording and you send it to Calvin Klein and say, "So there."
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
take that.
There
well,
you go.
I'm gonna say,
I'll take
I
you, Calvin Klein, and I'll raise you, Steven Spielberg. How about that?
right. The
Yeah.
hell with Kevin Klein. We're going to Levi's.
Right. I think they've started to understand. I think the business is kind of caught up now that, Bridget Jones' Diary. I mean, she did the most. Her accent was so on point. I was so impressed. Being a Brit, I can smell it a mile away. And I was like, oh, she's really good. Oh my God. She's nailed it. Nailed it. So I think people understand now in the casting world that, just because you're not born in England, you're an actor. You can
Right. They got to
figure
do.
it out.
They
Some
got
are
to do
better
better
than
with
others.
some of these movies that they're trying to get Boston accents in.
Right?
You
just
it's
can't
hard.
terrible.
It's terrible.
It's
Really?
terrible. Yeah, see, if you know.
They just keep hiring Ben
you
Affleck.
can hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a real good friend in LA who's an actor. She's really talented. She still is an actor, and she would always call me when she had a British audition. She's like, "Sam, can you run lines with me?" And I would always correct her because she was Canadian and she didn't understand Brit, but she would get there. But I would help her. I was her British coach.
Do you still have the British accent?
No, not anymore. I mean, if I'm asked to, it sort of depends. Do I want to sort of go like a little more Essex, or do I want to do something that's rather regal and lovely and very beautiful and refined? It all depends, Depends.
Not fair. She does voices for a living.
Right.
I was just curious because she's been in the U.S. for so long. You know how sometimes you have that really strong accent and you move somewhere and it kind of fades away very slowly.
Yeah. Well, my mom.
Yeah, but you've been
I spent
using
a lot of time with her. What was that?
You've been using that accent.
I try to, and sometimes. I mean, if I would get a job, then I would really listen and just try to reacquaint myself with it. Because it happened. Obviously, it's been a lot of years, but that's what you do. Get into character.
Yeah. I mean, I either sound like I'm from Boston or the woods of Maine. Can't get that from here.
And see, I wouldn't know the difference. I'd have to do a lot of research. I wouldn't.
Sounds about the same.
I know you were from the northeast. I'd be like, that's northeast somewhere, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah.
Yep, everything's wicked pisser.
Wicked.
I don't even hear people say that anymore.
Oh, they do.
I've never heard.
Maybe
I
in
say
Southie.
wicked still, not pissa.
No, they do. You know,
That's funny.
Oh boy.
they changed. They even had the signs on the highway with the "Use your blinker."
That's true.
Who's your
They
blinker?
still use those.
Your wanker.
With the, they end everything with an AH. Yeah, even wanker. You know. I didn't say it first.
I love it.
Innocent.
I love all the different dialects. It cracks me up. I mean, sometimes because I'm in Nashville, and I remember this post office was like this little post office closed down. I'm so bummed. But I remember when I first moved here, and I would go there all the time because it was better than the main post office. And I walked in there one day, and the lady's like, "Hi, honey." She had like the strongest, thickest Southern accent. And I was like, oh my God, I really am in the South, you know, because you're around like the show business aspect of Nashville. But then she's like, "Hi, honey." I was like, oh my God, can I have some biscuits, please? You know, she was so country.
Will I take you home with me, please?
I know. Let me put you in my bucket. You're so sweet. Yeah.
So what made you stay in Nashville?
You know, LA's a beast of a place, and it changed so much. It just changed a lot. And also, you know, I think with my background of my parents kind of paving the way to, you're not a tree, you can pick up and move. And if you hate it, you can come back. And so I've always had that kind of in me, and I'm always up for a good adventure. And, yeah, I was in LA. I moved to Colorado for a while because my parents were there, and I was going to move to Nashville. And then my folks decided that they wanted to move to Nashville. So I waited 4 months, and they put their house on the market. And then we all moved together because I was like, well, why would I go by myself when I can help you guys and we can all kind of go together? And I loved it here. I don't like the tornadoes. They freak me out. But, you know, earthquakes, tornadoes, I mean, you know, you got something, right. you got, you know, weather stuff everywhere, but
yeah, we just get
blizzard. Yeah, I love it here.
Yeah, what nor'easters,
blizzards,
hurricanes.
Hurricanes for a great while. Yeah, we have been getting we did get a tornado a few years ago. 5 or
yeah, there's been a few. Yeah, it's rare up here, but
wow, that's crazy. Yeah, the cold, I'm not a big fan of. It gets cold in Nashville too. I'm like, this is the South. What's happening? Like, what crazy winter a couple of years ago where it was like minus 20 or something with the wind chill for a couple of days. And I was like, what is happening? Like, that is, I'm not equipped. I don't have the right gear. You know, it's like Arctic weather. What is this? Yeah.
Well, down there, you guys go out when you get a little snow. The only thing you have to shovel with is a fucking spatula.
It's so true. And the whole city shuts down. Everybody's like, oh my God, we're going to get 2 inches of snow. Everybody go. And there's like no bread and no milk, and everybody's flipping out. It's so crazy.
And we get 2 feet of snow. We're like, oh, come on, we got to go to work. Let's go. Come on.
Right. My parents lived in Colorado Springs, and they just get like an avalanche from the sky. And they'd be like, okay, so we're not going anywhere for 4 or 5 days. Oh, well. And that was the first time I had experienced the interstate being shut down, because I was singing in a cover band. I went to so I'd live in LA, and I get really bummed out and disappointed and frustrated, and just being in the industry and, like, you know, paying my dues and all of that. And so I'd get frustrated, and I'd drive to Colorado to be with my parents for like a few months, and I'd sing in a cover band. And I remember one time they closed the interstate because of snow, and I was like, but I got to get to Denver. And they're like, yeah, but the freeway's closed. And I was like, I'm from California mostly, you know. Like,
you can't close a freeway.
What do you mean?
Close a freeway? Like, why does that happen? And they're like, oh yeah, it's closed. It's closed from New Mexico up to Wyoming. I was like, where am I? Like, what? Yeah, it was quite an epiphany. I was like, wow, you guys have some weather out here. I'm not used to that.
Right.
But I do like the rain and the thunderstorms here, and yeah, it's beautiful here. It's green. The people are lovely. I mean, you get crazy people, but mostly people here are really warm, and I just have some lovely friends. It's great. Wow. It was a good move.
Now, how close are you to the Blue Ridge Mountain Range?
The Blue Ridge Mountain Range, well, that would be in Virginia. So probably
it goes down right down through the side of like the Carolinas, North Carolina. It kind of separates the Carolinas from like Tennessee and that other side.
I don't know exactly how far that would be. I know that we're kind of near the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah, Smoky Mountains is part of the Blue Ridge Mountain Range.
The
It's all the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
All the Appalachian stuff.
Yeah, like near Dollywood. It's I was actually out that way for a show a couple weeks ago. I think it was like 3 hours from me, because I'm Middle Tennessee. I'm just north of Nashville, the city of downtown.
Okay. All right. So it's a little ways away.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, and it's fun. Like if I've got a show in Florida or New York or on the East Coast, it's like an hour-and-a-half flight. When I lived in LA, it was like it was just 4 hours. So it's so close to everything, and I can drive to so many places. It's great. I don't regret moving here at all. It's good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, if you ever get a chance, there's a road called the Blue Ridge Parkway.
That sounds really beautiful.
Okay. It's
I like
fantastic. The vista views from like 2,500 feet.
Oh wow. Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's up my alley.
You can drive that for a couple of days.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
It's one of those, and all those quaint little towns like Blowing Rock, and it's absolutely beaual. I reckon because you're close enough to it for like a weekend
to be able
trip.
to do that. Thank you for that. That's cool, because that's I like doing stuff like that. That's it's so funny when you just to keep that balance in your life of like there's a whole beautiful world out there. You don't even have to. I mean, it's great to travel internationally, but America is so beautiful. There's so much to see.
It really is.
It's right in my backyard, so I'm all about that.
Yeah, but highly recommend that one. I've done it.
Just
don't do it. Just don't do it if it's raining and foggy.
No,
don't do it in the winter time. Not in the winter time.
Okay, so I'll recommend one to you too. Glenwood
The best time
Springs.
is the fall.
Okay. Oh,
Glenwood
I love the
Springs.
fall. That's my favorite time of year is the fall. I love it. I like to wear boots, drink coffee. So down with it. I do. Glenwood Springs, Colorado is it's I-70, and it is one of the most gorgeous, beautiful places. So if you take 70, you go up through Utah and you go, it's been a while since I've done it, but it's through Glenwood Springs Canyon, and there are hot springs there too. I've never been to the hot springs, but it is phenomenal. It's like God's country. It's so beautiful. And then you come out, and I think it takes you up to the Eisenhower Tunnel, and you're like at 10,000 feet, and then you come down and you go into Evergreen, Colorado. That's some of the most epically beautiful country I've ever been so lucky to go through. It's just what a drive. Wow. And in the summertime too. And the air is different there, and the sky is different there. It's just a different kind of blue. It's beautiful. Samantha and guys, you sound amazing. Hi, Paul. Oh, so sweet.
I must have missed
it.
I'm like totally like zoned into the show tonight, and I'm looking over and going, "Oh wait, people were saying stuff."
People were saying stuff. Yep.
Oops, my bad. Sorry, Paul.
And so, in the music world, is there somebody that you would like to be able to work with that you haven't had a chance to yet?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I mean, God, there are so many. I really love this band Goldfrapp. You probably have never heard of them, but their music has been licensed countless times. I'm sure you've heard their music. I'm a really good fan of theirs, and they're a duo. And I've always wanted to find my duo counterpart, because they're both songwriters, and he's like the gear guy, which I don't understand any of that. I'm not that girl that's the gear person, the studio, all of that. I hire people to do that. I'm the vocal talent, and I write. And so, not necessarily anybody famous, but just somebody that speaks my language and loves the same kind of vibe of music that I do. I'm still looking for that. That would light me up big time, because I have so many songs that I've never finished, and songs that I've yet to write. And it's really, I love collaborating. And I haven't quite found over the years, I've been in so many different projects, but I'm still waiting for that one. I haven't quite found that one yet, so that would be,
you're looking for like a soulmate of talent.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Okay.
looking for. A soulmate
Well
of
said.
talent. That's exactly
Jeff.
it.
I know. Look at Jeff. I mean, he's been so well behaved tonight. I'm kind of nervous. I don't know
You're like,
what's happening here.
Yeah, last week he was on fire with what's his name? Oh man,
Jerome?
Jerome
Ro Brooks? Ro
Oh,
Brooks?
Jerome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with him. Him
Oh,
and his
yeah.
bald shiny head.
Yeah, he called
Oh,
you
yeah.
number one more than once.
Yep.
And you had Brian Halloran on. I've done a ton of shows with Brian. We've sat next to each other. We've been on like the bus going to and from the airport. He's hilarious. You get a bunch of voice talent and actors on a bus together going to and from hotels. I wish we had so many times I thought we should be live streaming this. This is hilarious. Like so funny.
That's a lot of what we do with Brian and Billy.
Yeah.
So Jeff and I, we're not doing Georgia this year because it was a too long of a trip for us.
It's 19-hour drive for us.
Yeah, we used to
stream.
We were streaming all their panels live.
Yeah.
But we're also talent, so after hours, we would all get together and literally, like in Virginia, we would take over the pool. You weren't allowed in the pool unless you were VIP and you couldn't bring your phone.
Right.
And we would just have a blast.
Yeah.
A blast.
Yeah. It's stuff that you can't. I mean, I've laughed till I've cried. That, you know, I mean, they're comedians and voice actors and they're so freaking funny. And I was on a bus with the guy that played Napoleon Dynamite, and then there was like oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now. He's so famous. He does all the parodies of music.
Weird Al?
Weird Al. Yeah, it was like Weird Al.
Oh no shit.
And then there was like there was the guy that was an Ewok. He was a tiny person. He was lovely.
Warwick?
And then there was a really tall man who played Lurch. And myself at the time, I had pink hair. I was like, oh my God, I've officially joined the circus. You know, we people would just be
No, we're down there. Just throw a couple of stoners in the mix.
What was that?
Throw a couple of stoners in the mix and it's all over.
Oh,
yeah,
right. There,
oh
yeah.
my God.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we've had
bring
some
the
great,
green.
you know, conversations outside of sitting at fire pits after the show and just hanging out and talking and just it's just so many fun memories. I feel so lucky. It's like a traveling circus, and you always see, and even the vendors are so wonderful. You get to know the vendors because they do all the different shows, and they're super cool. And they're like, "Hey, Samantha," you know, it's lovely. It's really great.
So,
what happens by the pool stays by the pool.
Stays by the pool. Yes.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So Robert made a comment, and I said this at the beginning of the show. He said, "You guys should see the sky in Scotland right now."
Wow, are you guys getting the
Aurora?
Northern Lights? The whole Northern Lights.
Oh, the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, that's incredible. That was in Tennessee the other day, and I cannot believe I missed it. That's something that I normally would not
I missed it myself up here in Mass.
It's been going on for 3 or 4 days now.
It has.
Yeah.
Just
I missed it too. Cloudy skies.
No, I missed it because I'm old and I went to bed.
The one that I missed at 9:00, and then the next one is at 4 a.m, and I'm like, that's not.
Oh no.
Sorry, I'm not.
Yeah, no, it's a lot easier for me to get up in the morning, go to Facebook, and see the pictures people post.
Oh yeah,
that looks good.
Oh yeah,
That's
I'm like,
pretty
oh yeah,
cool.
I see it. Oh, look at that. That's great.
And I got to sleep, and I still got to see it.
And I still
Right?
see it. Exactly.
So,
it has to kind of fit and just be somewhat convenient. I mean,
Right.
I'll do some fun stuff like that every once in a while, but yeah.
Right.
But we are getting close to time, so Jar Jar.
Well, we haven't even gotten into like the music videos and stuff like that.
I know.
Yet. I was wondering the makeup on Freak Show. Did you guys do your own makeup, or was there an art? Oh, see, I knew that.
Yes, I watched some blacklight tutorials, and I had just this concept of like blacklight rave kind of party. You know, my album cover is the blacklight look, and Yeah, I experimented and I experimented with my friend. It was hilarious. We had so much fun. We had so much fun that night. It was so ridiculous. We were just covered in her children, covered in black like makeup. We kept flipping off the lights and being like, "Oh my God, wait,
Oh,
what did
hell
you
yeah.
do my eyes like that?" So we were all experimenting. Yeah.
And retro to the 70s. I remember my bedroom being all black light posters.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
Everything was black light.
Black light
Yep.
velvet posters. Oh yeah.
Yep.
I remember that. I remember those were the days, man. I never thought I would turn into the person that was like, I miss the 80s. But I do. I really
Right?
do.
Now, see, I'm maybe I'm a little bit. I miss the 70s, not the 80s.
Yeah.
I miss the
the
90s.
70s too. I miss
And
the 70s,
some of the 80s.
and the early 90s. Yeah. I think after like just anything before 2000, I kind of
Yeah.
you know, think about a lot. I think those were
I
the
miss
days.
I miss
Great
everything leading up till now.
Yeah, right. Well, to me, the 80s had a lot of weird music transitions going on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, I grew up with you know, rock and roll in the 70s.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it-
come
and it-
on.
and
You
it
like
was-
the hair
Yeah.
bands.
You know, and it started to change when you get into the 80s. More heavy metal started getting into the mix, and
Yeah.
then you had that. Well, what was that other shit? It was disco stuff. You know,
That was-
disco
yeah.
stuff.
See,
You
I
know.
love disco. I mean,
You know.
give me a Bee Gees song or Casey and the Sunshine Band or
You know,
Parliament.
well, it's funny. I
love
like that
funk
stuff.
and
I
disco.
do like that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you start having TV shows about it, I mean, that was a turnoff to me. You know, American Bandstand, and I mean, come on.
Oh my God, yes. Dick,
You know,
what was his name? Dick. I can't think of his name right now. I must be
was that
tired.
Dick Clark?
Dick Clark, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
his building was right down the street from my house because I lived on Olive Avenue, and he was. I remember his building was there for years and years and years. Yeah,
You know, I mean, gave a lot of people a lot of fame, but you know,
yeah.
but I suppose even in today's world, we still have it. American Idol, you know,
American
the
Idol,
Masked
yeah.
Singer, and you know, and all this
Yeah.
other stuff going on. It's like, you know,
Yeah, Top of the Pops was a
you know,
big
can
thing
we
in
be a little
England.
bit more creative? You know.
Right. I know.
So,
I know.
all right, but I want to ask my final two questions. I
Yeah.
like to ask. I'm surprised Jaja didn't ask. Number one, what do you like on your pizza?
Ooh, that's a good question. You're making me hungry. I like I really like pepperoni. I really like thick crust. And I love a little pineapple every once in a while on my pizza.
Okay.
With the pepperoni,
No.
or
That might offend a lot of people, but that's what I like. I don't know, because I'm an English girl that lived in Africa and then came to America, and I'm all over the place. I did not even know how to eat pizza when I first came to school. I was made fun of because I started to cut it with a knife and fork, and the kids are like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
That's
Pizza.
finger food.
Right.
You're supposed to eat it with your hands. I'm like, I thought it was so barbaric. I was like, but pick it up with your hands, like. And yeah, I didn't know how to eat a taco. I'd never seen a taco. Like, it was culture shock. I was traumatized, you know.
Okay. The question
And that's
number
why
two.
she got into voice acting, folks.
Right,
Right.
exactly. I'm gonna hide
So-
behind a microphone because I can't. I'm so confused.
All right. So cats or dogs?
Oh, how can I even choose? I love all the furry things. We have a cat and a dog. We have a furry bastard named Mickey Finn, and a little Wheaton Terrier. We call her Gracie Daisy Corgi Butt because she's really low to the ground, and she has like a round corgi low to the ground butt.
You
which
can
I-
can say both. That's a proper answer.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I love both. I love most animals. I do. I'm a little scared of pit bulls, and you know, and I know there lots of them are really lovely if they're raised right. But I've had a couple of scares. But yeah, I just love all furry creatures.
Okay.
Bless the beasts and the children. You know.
So squirrels, rabbits, or chipmunks?
That's so random. I would say
Yep.
squirrels because I see a lot of squirrels, and I go
Okay.
out there and I like squirrel friend, and they always run away from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm a chipmunk guy myself. I like the
Yeah.
chipmunks.
I never see chipmunks.
I have a
they're
ton
out
of them.
there.
I love chipmunks.
That's cool. I love them too.
So okay, so those are my ending random weird questions.
They are very random, but
Jeremy?
I appreciate.
Yeah, how do you follow that one up, squirrel?
Squirrel.
I know, right?
I'll stay random with Jeff and do the Leo question. What's the one like hobby, or do you collect something? Or are you into something that nobody knows about? Well,
what do you dork out about?
Yeah. What do you dork out about?
I love to go down conspiracy theory rabbit holes. I'm kind of obsessed with it. Yeah, like I would rather go down a rabbit hole than watch a movie. I don't hardly know what, people are like, have you watched the new Squid Games? I'm like, no. But have you heard about la 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 la,
Yeah. What about the aliens that live in the Arctic?
Right.
Right.
You heard what's happening in Antarctica? Have you seen that weird anomaly that keeps... Yeah, that's me. That's who I am in my spare time.
Cool. I love it.
Nice.
We should have started the show off with that.
Right? We could have gotten into all sorts of weird stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've just gone down the dog man rabbit hole. That's pretty fascinating.
Oh, dog man, yeah. Yep.
Dog man, yeah. It's like, what is dog man? Oh my God.
So
I live really close to that. Oh my God.
So I'm gonna guess you believe in the Sasquatch and the Bigfoot. Do you believe in that?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think definitely there's something going on there. I mean, there have been so many species over the years that have been discovered. Why wouldn't there be something? I don't know. Yeah, it's fascinating. The whole cryptoid thing. I want to go to a convention. I'm really into the missing, David Paulides missing 411, his missing people in parks, all these clusters of missing people. It's fascinating. He's got 2 documentaries out on that. I love that stuff. I love learning.
Have you seen the, I can't remember what it was called. Somebody was putting together that Sasquatch is actually an alien that comes and goes.
People are talking about it could be interdimensional, and like a lot of the Hollywood films have alluded to it with like Predator, and like they're showing us what's real, but we're not really supposed to know, and they're not really telling us. I don't know. There's so it's fascinating, and I just kind of have to go with what feels. Sometimes I hear things and I'm like, that's insane. Like, no, that's stupid.
Right,
and then other things I keep a really open mind, and I kind of have to feel if it resonates with me, and then I'll sort of explore it more. But yeah, that's what I do.
Well, somebody told me something a long time ago, and that's some things need to be believed to be seen.
Yeah. I
not
think that's
seen to be
not
believed.
seen to be believed, but believed to be seen. You have to have an open mind. You really, really do. It all started with Art Bell and George Norrie years and years and years and years ago. And God bless Art Bell.
See, we end the show with Bigfoot and aliens. I love it.
All right.
I love it. Yes. All right.
So, but on that note, folks,
it's really fun talking to you guys. Yeah.
Make sure you check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. All Samantha's stuff is in there. Her website, her store, everything. It's in the show notes. That's where it is. Just letting everybody know right now. So on that, Samantha, where do you like interacting with your fans on the socials?
I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. Mostly those are the 2 that I'm on. So you can find me there, and I try to respond as much as I can. I can't always get back to everybody, but I see your messages, and it's really fun to see the messages when I'm traveling, because it makes me feel connected to everybody. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
You heard it there, folks.
Hey, check me out on Facebook too. I'm there. Let's see. Check out Splash Pages every Tuesday night on the Facebooks and the YouTubes and wherever else you get your podcasts. And next Wednesday, I'll be here again. I don't know who the guest is, but I will be here. And that's at 7:00. If you don't remember, you should.
How dare you not know who our guests are?
You tell me the day before.
The mystery guest.
He leaves me, so I'm like, oh, I got to study everything in 24 hours. No. But yeah, and that's about it. Go over to Jeff.
Okay. Hef.
StillToking.com. And you can see a lot of our previous episodes now on Red Coral Universe. Be sure to check them out. Their link is in the show notes, up above or wherever. I don't know where the fuck you find the show notes. They're there somewhere.
Up above, down below, side to side, depending on where you watch or listen to us. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't look at show notes because I'm actually in the show.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, I shouldn't say that. I look at the show notes before the show so that I know who the guest is. Because sometimes I don't even know until like, an hour before sometimes, so I got to do like quick research, like tonight, my mother was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing research on the guest. You don't know who your guest is? I'm like, no, well, I do now. Or go to stilltoken.com or Token with the Dead on the Facebook. I know we're on Instagram and all that other and TikTok, and I don't know, I'm not, I do Facebook. Don't Google me though. Don't ever Google me. You're not going to like what you find.
Okay.
Just go to
now I'm going to Google you. Game on.
There's a lot of people, a lot of aliases out there with my name. I'm just telling you, they're out there. Be careful.
Are you done yet?
Walkers.
Are you done yet?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm currently infused.
Oh, okay. Are you sure though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So I want to thank Samantha for coming and hanging out with all of us tonight. Amazing lady doing
Thanks
all
for
kinds of
having me. You guys are
amazing
fun.
things. Like I said, check the show notes up above or down below. If you're on the East Coast, you're near New Jersey, she'll be there this Sunday. Go say hi to her. She'll also be in Georgia this year at the Georgia Pop and Horror Con. If you haven't got tickets to that, well, get them. It's that simple. It really just is that simple.
Or get them at the door if you want to pay more.
Yeah.
We'll get them at the door because we like Billy and Brian. So get them at the door so you can pay more. But in all seriousness, to all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do so people like us can do what we do. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. We're out of here.
Peace.
Maybe. If I can find the right button to push.